Back in 2014, Taiwan was rocked by a tragic event near Jiangzicui Station. A man went on a wild rampage with a knife on a moving train, hurting people and even taking lives. The victims were ordinary people going about their daily routines, yet they ended up losing their lives in such a confined space. Today we're diving into the chilling 2014 Taipei Metro Attack. This video is sponsored by Aura. You know, when you Google my channel name Darkasiawithmegan, you'll see tons of my videos. And yes, my face is all over those thumbnails. That kind of exposure, I'm cool with it. But there's this other kind of exposure that really gets to me. I just Googled my name along with my personal email and phone number just out of curiosity, and that's something I often do. And let me tell you, it's kind of scary. My personal info is just floating around everywhere. It's not just weird, it makes me so vulnerable. So here's the deal. Data brokers are out there selling your info. We're talking names, emails, even where you live. That's why we need to use data removal services like Aura. It's not just about seeing who's selling your info. Aura actually helps you take it back. Check this out. Aura finds these data brokers and helps you opt out. Just a few clicks and you're taking back control. But it's not just about cutting down on spam. It's about keeping the scammers, data brokers, even hackers away from my social media, my bank accounts, and all that important information. Aura's got it all. Antivirus, VPN, password management, and even identity theft insurance. You can get everything at one affordable price. Want to get all safe and secure online? With Aura, it's like every part of my digital life is locked tight. So if you're like me and you value your privacy, you gotta check out Aura. Go to my custom link, aura.com/darkasia, and you can start a 2-week free trial. I've also dropped the link in the description below. Stay safe out there, and a big thanks to Aura for sponsoring today's video. Let's begin by understanding the perpetrator, Zheng Jie. Born in 1993 in the Banqiao district of Taiwan, Zheng Jie grew up in a wealthy family. His parents were involved in businesses dealing with water and electricity supply, and he even owned a high-value car and lived in an upscale residence in Banqiao. To those looking from the outside, it appeared that he led a more comfortable life than many others. However, being the eldest child, Zheng Jie faced significant expectations from his parents. They were strict, urging him to excel academically and set a positive example for his younger brother. This created immense pressure on Zheng Jie, resulting in a childhood with few friends. To cope with his loneliness, he immersed himself in video games like League of Legends and was drawn to horror novels and movies. Zheng Jie's childhood raised serious red flags. He once made death threats against a female classmate who reported his bullying behavior. He also revealed that he had carried a knife during his junior high school years, waiting for a chance to stab his teacher. Moreover, he began writing about killings and expressed his murderous intentions in his high school blog. Zheng Jie pursued his education at the National Defense University's Department of Power and Systems Engineering after finishing high school. His time there lasted until June 2013, when he dropped out during his second year. The reason? He failed to earn more than half of the required credits, leading the university to give him an ultimatum. Not long after, he managed to pass the transfer exam and enrolled in the second year of the Department of Environmental Engineering at Tunghai University in September of the same year. Zheng Jie's academic journey didn't smooth out though. He tried applying to another college that winter, but didn't make it. These continuous setbacks took a toll on him, and it's reported that his father became so disappointed that he didn't even want to see Zheng Jie anymore. For Zheng Jie, everything seemed too much. He began to express a desire to do something big, but tragically, his intentions weren't benevolent. He confided in his longtime friend, Li, about his plan to kill multiple people. Understandably shocked, Li warned Zheng against making any rash decisions. Then one day, Zheng Jie asked Li to meet him at a McDonald's on Banqiao Wenhua Road, where he alarmingly told him that he will actually kill someone. Li, trying to be a good friend, attempted to dissuade Zheng Jie, urging him to think about it again. Despite Li's efforts to talk some sense into him, Zheng Jie was unyielding and even went out to get a knife. Unbeknownst to Li, Zheng Jie was already set on his plans, and it seemed that nothing could sway him from his dark path. On May 21st, 2014, around 4 p.m., people were either heading home from their day's activities or rushing to their next destination. Choosing the Taiwan MRT was a common and convenient option for many. Life went on as usual. Passengers tapped into the station and boarded trains, unaware of the tragedy that was about to unfold. They were familiar with their routes, having traveled them countless times. Among them were passengers on the Banan Line train, traveling west between Longshan Temple Station in Taipei and Jiangzi Station in New Taipei. This particular stretch is known for being the longest between two stations in the Taipei Metro system, typically taking about 5 minutes to travel. On that ill-fated day, 135 police officers were stationed throughout the transportation system, tasked with overseeing the safety of the 1.8 million passengers. Despite this seemingly adequate security, a devastating oversight occurred. The 21-year-old Zheng Jie managed to slip through with a large knife onto the train. As the train commenced its journey, an unimaginable horror began to unfold. Amid the tired and distracted passengers, Zheng Jie suddenly unleashed his attack. His first strike fatally wounded a man, though the exact location of the stab wound remains unclear. Panic ensued, with people screaming in terror, but Zheng Jie didn't stop. He continued his rampage, indiscriminately attacking passengers, resulting in a chaotic scene of blood and fear. Some passengers, in a desperate attempt to document the event, began recording with their phones. Men used their umbrellas to form a protective barrier around women and children. The cries of women pleading for Zheng Jie to stop filled the air. Injured individuals were hastily moved to safer areas within this improvised circle of protection. In the wake of the attack, the consequences were devastating. Lives were lost, and many were injured. The youngest of the deceased was a 26-year-old PhD student from National Cheng Kung University named Zhang Zhenghan. The other victims who lost their lives were Xie Qingyun, age 28, Pan Pichu, 47, and Li Cui-yun, 62. Additionally, 24 others were injured, with 10 suffering critical wounds. As the train came to a stop, Zheng Jie was forcefully ejected by the men on board. Chaos ensued, with passengers fleeing in terror. Once off the train, Zheng Jie was surrounded by an angry crowd. He was punched and kicked, and one enraged individual even choked him, shouting furiously. In a brief struggle, Zheng Jie eventually dropped his knife. Security personnel quickly intervened, calming the crowd and taking control of the situation. Emergency responders were called to tend to the wounded and the deceased. However, as Zheng Jie was led away by the police, a mob followed, eager for retribution. They hurled kicks, shouts, and even objects, such as a newspaper basket, at him. In custody, Zhang Jie showed no remorse. When questioned, his responses were chilling. He claimed that if he had encountered a family member on the train, he would have killed him too. He even provocatively told the investigators that he would have attacked them as well had they been on that train. When asked why he chose a train for his crime, Zhang Jie explained that it was because it would be crowded and the passengers would be unsuspecting and unable to escape. He selected the longest route between Longshan Temple Station and Jiangzicui Station to prey on as many people as possible. Starting with Zhangzhenghan, the nearest target, he planned to move further along. He declared that he wouldn't bother with anyone who resisted, as it would be too much trouble. With so many people present, he could simply choose another victim. When questioned about his motive for carrying out such a brutal attack, Zhang Jie didn't provide a clear answer. He mentioned to the investigators that he was single, had never had sexual encounters, and was a virgin. However, the idea that sexual frustration was the motive seemed too far-fetched for the investigators, who were left sighing at his response. They also asked him if he felt any remorse for taking 4 innocent lives. Surprisingly, Zhang Jie just chuckled, insisting he was in the right, and expressed no apology for what had happened. After much interrogation, the police managed to get a bit more insight into his mindset. Zhang Jie revealed that he was tired of living what he saw as a pathetic life. He expressed bitterness, feeling that everything was painful and required too much effort, and believed he would never achieve anything significant. He admitted that while he may have been depressed, he didn't have the courage to end his own life. Instead, he resorted to murder, a far more extreme action, believing it would ensure his own death. Zhang Jie thought that killing one person might not lead to the death penalty, but murdering multiple people would. So he told the investigators to expedite the process and sentence him to death. Following his arrest, Zhang Jie was taken to the Taipei Detention Center. There, he received medical treatment for the injuries he had sustained during the attack by the mob. During his time in detention, Zhang Jie often spent his days staring blankly at the blue sky, leaning against the wall. He was held in solitary confinement with a monitor installed in his room for constant surveillance to prevent any incidents. Many Taiwanese netizens expressed frustration and annoyance at Zhang Jie's nonchalant demeanor after the incident. The aftermath of Zhang Jie's actions deeply impacted his family, both socially and personally. During the police questioning, Zhang Jie's brother was overwhelmed with emotion, unable to hold back his tears. Zhang Jie had been a childhood hero to him, and the revelation of his brother's murderous actions was a profound shock. The parents, for their part, felt compelled to issue a formal public apology. They had never imagined that their son's unusual behavior would lead to such a societal shockwave. Initially, Zhang Jie's parents thought the news was a prank, as they believed their son was on campus. The reality hit them hard when they were informed that he wasn't there and had committed such a heinous crime. The family was devastated, with their lives shattered by their son's actions. However, they managed to make a public apology and expressed that they saw no alternative but to accept the prospect of their son's execution. In a Facebook post, anchor Zhang Yu shared her thoughts, pointing out that the issue was complex and extended beyond whether Zhang Jie deserved the death penalty. She criticized the public's failure to see the bigger picture, highlighting the existence of troubled individuals like Zhang Jie who are not adequately supported. This sparked some debate, with some voices arguing that Zheng Jie shouldn't blame his issues on society. Zheng Jie's trial commenced shortly afterward. On July 21st, the new Taipei District Prosecutor's Office charged him with 4 counts of murder and 22 counts of attempted murder. On March 6, 2015, the Taiwan New Taipei District Court found him guilty of all charges. The trial was relatively swift. Ultimately, Zheng Jie was sentenced to life imprisonment, stripped of his rights, and received the death penalty for each murder. Additionally, he was handed prison sentences ranging from 5 years and 2 months to 8 years for each count of attempted murder. In total, Zheng Jie was sentenced to 144 years in prison and received 4 death sentences. The repercussions of Zheng Jie's actions extended beyond the immediate impact of the attack. The Taipei Rapid Transit Corporation filed a lawsuit against him for causing them a loss of 20.61 million new Taiwan dollars in the 10 days following the attack. As the legal process progressed, the amount claimed against him increased. On May 10, 2016, Justice Minister Luo Ying-shui signed the order for Zheng Jie's execution. Following this order, prison guards served Zheng Jie his last meal, which included braised pork and vegetables. After his meal, he was administered anesthesia to render him unconscious. Then the executors carried out the sentence by shooting him in the heart, marking the end of Zheng Jie. Zheng Jie's parents, when discussing their son's behavior, often attributed it to his addiction to violent video games. They expressed how their lives were ruined and their inability to face society any longer. This perspective, however, was met with backlash from people who felt it was irresponsible to focus on their own plight rather than the lives lost because of their son's actions. This sparked a different kind of debate. Undoubtedly, the events that unfolded on the train that day were profoundly traumatic for the unsuspecting passengers. In closing, let's take a moment to remember the individuals whose lives were tragically and abruptly ended on that train in Taipei. They were people just like any of us, with hopes, dreams, and loved ones. To those who lost someone in this senseless act, our thoughts are with you. May the memories of those lost continue to be a guiding light in the pursuit of a kinder, safer world. That's all for today. Thanks for watching.